Worst childhood. Albert Fish was born Hamilton Howard Fish on May 19, 1870, in Washington, D.C. His mother suffered from hallucinations, and other members of his family struggled with severe mental illnesses. At least 2 of his family members died in asylums. Sent to St. John's Orphanage, Fish was punished severely by his teachers. They would rip off his clothes and whip him while the other students watched. Psychologists believe that his later behavior, torturing his victims to death, was his way of forcing the same pain he had endured onto others. Raw meat. In 1898, Fish's mother arranged a marriage between him and Anna Mary Hoffman, a young lady 9 years his junior. During their 19 years of married life, they had 6 children together. Then Hoffman left Fish for another man. It was this rejection and betrayal that seemingly triggered a much darker side in Fish. He began to self-harm and developed a taste for raw meat. Bloody meals were just the start, as he later turned to cannibalism to feed his thirst for gore. Self-mutilation. When Fish was just 12 years old, he met a boy who introduced him to coprophagia, consuming feces, and urolagnia, drinking urine. Fish had also begun to frequent public bathrooms where he would watch the younger boys undress in front of him. Later in life, his fetishes became more powerful as he turned to self-mutilation. He asked his own children to repeatedly hit his behind with various objects. Notoriously, Fish was known for pushing needles so deep into his groin that they could not be removed. An X-ray of Fish's groin with 12 needles embedded deep under his skin. Vulnerable victims. Fish preyed on small children. His known victims were 8-year-old Francis X. McDonald in 1924, 4-year-old Billy Gaffney in 1927, and 10-year-old Grace Budd in 1928. Although Fish was only charged with 3 murders, the real victim count could be much higher. Another potential victim was 12-year-old Yetta Abramowitz, who was beaten and strangled in the Bronx area by a tall young man. He is now believed to have been Fish, as he had killed Gaffney that year. Torture of Thomas Kedden. In 1910, when Fish was still married to Anna Mary Hoffman, he met a 19-year-old man named Thomas Kedden. In later confessions, Fish revealed that Kedden was not mentally strong or very bright. Fish took advantage of these vulnerabilities and entered into a sadomasochistic relationship with the teenager. Fish took Kedden to an old farmhouse and tortured the boy over 2 consecutive weeks, tying him up and cutting off his penis. In his own chilling account, Fish recalled, "I shall never forget his scream or the look he gave me.